out into the cold Minnesota weather and made it. Interesting fact, because we started our big launch in September of last year, this is also the coldest Sunday Assembly ever. So feel especially proud of yourselves today in this historic moment. I hope you guys all enjoyed the holiday season. But if you're like me, you also face some challenges in the winter and with the in-laws and some family things. But we're all glad that you came to Sunday Assembly today, because this should be a place that is safe for you to build friendships. And we like to be a place of understanding and a place where everybody knows everyone else's name. So, anyway, speaking of friendship, today's theme is around the ktten, man's best friend. So we have Linda Ball here speaking today. You'll learn more about that later. And I'm going to let David tell you a little bit more about the rest of the event.
Well, in short, we are kind of like This American Life and a TED Talk walk into a karaoke bar. That's basically what we're doing today. So we choose a theme, find someone who knows a lot about the theme, talk to us about it, and then we find a variety of songs and poems and readings to kind of explore that theme along with it. And your job is to explore that with us. So sing if you want, clap, play games, be silly. If you're looking around thinking, who are these people? That's okay too. Like, sit back, relax, have a good time.
And if you feel like you need to, have some coffee and desserts during
have a beverage. Enjoy a beverage. Hydration is good. So our first song today kind of describes that relationship that we have with canines, and it goes something like this. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, just remember what your old past said. Son, you've got a friend in me. Yeah, you've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. You got troubles, well I got him too. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for you. We stick together, we can see it through. 'Cause you've got a friend in me. Yeah, you've got a friend in me. Now some other folks might be a little bit smarter than I am, bigger and stronger too. But none of them will ever love you the way I do. It's me and you, boy. And as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You gotta see it's our destiny. Yeah. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me.
Hi, my name is Nancy Hertz, and I do hospitality and silly games. So we've got one longer silly game later, but right now I would like you to introduce yourself to two people you do not know, and we're going to be silly. And the question I want you to answer is, if you were a dog, what would your favorite dog toy be? And I'll start. Mine would be a Kong ball in hopes that my owner put some peanut butter in it. That would be my favorite dog toy. So if you could introduce yourselves, and we'll just take 2 minutes to do that. Thanks.
I'm Ben. Hi. You are? Peter. Nice to meet you, Peter. Nice to meet you. I guess if I was a dog, probably a football. I like the Kong ball.
Hi, Ben. Valerie. I'd probably play in the water, like roll in the grass and, do all that. Yeah, water. Jump in the lake and 87 times,
Tennis ball.
normally in the larger room there, so yeah, quite a few more people sometimes, but it's pretty good. Yeah, 16. I assume that's what it was. I don't know if it was intentional. Sometimes it's better to be, lots of people in a smaller space than we do so it's a nicer room, so.
Checking it out.
Yeah. Not that we need to delegate it. Do you live close to your
I like it. In a lot of ways. I feel like my tribe.
Well, I was very active with Lake Huron Spiritual Community for a long time. I heard of them right in the Indian Hills area. And I really liked it, but then I kept seeing, I see the calendar, like, two out there, and then two out there. I just realized I wasn't going to anything because none of it was resonating with me, so.
As much as I liked my
Great.
What would you think if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song, and I'll try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get high with a little help from my friends. Oh, I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. What do I do when my love is away? Does it worry you to be alone? How do I feel by the end of the day? Are you sad because you're on your own? No, I get by with a little help from my friends. Ooh, I get high with a little help from my friends. Yeah, I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. Do you need anybody? I need somebody to love. Could it be anybody? I want somebody to love. Do you believe in a love at first sight? Yes, I'm certain that it happens all the time. What do you see when you turn off the light? I can't tell you, but I know that it's mine. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get by with a little help from my friends. Oh, I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. Do you need anybody? I need somebody to love. Could it be anybody? I want somebody to love. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get high with a little help from my friends. Yeah, I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Yeah, I get high with a little help from my friends. Yeah, I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends.
So one of the things that I really envy most about dogs is their ability to seemingly just live in the present. It doesn't take them years to get over the terrible things that we do to them as puppies, even though there are honest-to-goodness dog psychologists. Really, there are. It's crazy. But if there is one thing that dogs can teach us, it's that it is hard to live in the present moment when you are carrying around the past.
Very zen of you.
Happiness hit her like a train on a track. accept everything you had and what was left after that too. Oh, happiness, it hurt like a bullet in the back. Struck from a great height by storm of water who should know better than that. The dog days are over, the dog days are done. Can't you hear the horses, but here they come. Run fast for your mother, run fast for your father, run for your children, for your sisters and your brothers. Leave all your love and your longing behind. You can't carry it with you if you want to survive. The dog days are over, the dog days are done. Can you hear the horses? 'Cause here they come. The dog days are over, the dog days are done. The horses are coming, so you better run. The dog days are over, the dog days are done. The horses are coming, so you better run.
Thank you, Dave Elvis and the Sunday Assembly Band. They work really hard to put this music together for us, pounding away in our cold basement every Wednesday. So we try. We really appreciate the hard work that you guys do. Just want to tell you guys a little bit about Sunday Assembly. It started out in London by a couple comedians who said, "Hey, you know, we might not believe in God, but we can do something like this because we think community is important too." And so Sanderson Jones and Peppa Evans started Sunday Assembly. The organization is a worldwide movement. It's only a couple years old, and Sunday Assembly in Minneapolis we started last September. Our motto is to live better, help often, and wonder more. So we put it on events like this to get together and build community, and we also work to volunteer in the community and make a positive impact in our world. So with that, I would like to welcome up Jennifer Knight, as she is going to perform today's reading. Everyone give a round of applause for Jennifer.
All right. So our theme is dogs and pets and our companionship with them. So the following is an extremely abridged passage from James Herriot's veterinary memoir, All Creatures Great and Small. And this anecdote describes how our love for pets transforms an animal into a family member, sometimes with humorous and eccentric results. Mrs. Pumphrey was an elderly widow. Her late husband had left her a vast fortune and a beautiful house on the outskirts of Derby. Here, she lived with a large staff of servants, a gardener, a chauffeur, and Tricky Woo. Tricky Woo was a Pekingese and the apple of his mistress's eye. Driving home from a house call, I mused on the many advantages of being Tricky's uncle. When he went to the seaside, he sent me boxes of oat-smoked kippers, and when the tomatoes ripened in his greenhouse, he sent a pound or two every week. Tins of tobacco arrived regularly, sometimes with a photograph carrying a loving inscription. But it was when the Christmas hamper arrived that I decided I was on to a really good thing which should be helped along a bit. Hitherto, I had merely rung up and thanked Mrs. Pumphrey for the gifts, and she had been rather cool, pointing out that it was Tricky who had sent the presents, and that he was the one who should be thanked. With the arrival of the hamper, it came to me, blindingly, that I had been guilty of a grave error of tactics. I set myself to compose a letter to Tricky. Avoiding my business partner's sardonic eye, I thanked my doggy nephew for his Christmas gifts and for all his generosity in the past. I expressed my sincere hopes that the festive fare had not upset his delicate digestion, and suggested that if he did experience any discomfort, he should have recourse to the black powder his uncle always prescribed. A vague feeling of professional shame was easily swamped by floating visions of kippers, tomatoes, and hampers. I addressed the envelope to Master Tricky Pumphrey, Bartley Grange, and slipped it into the postbox with only the slightest feeling of guilt. On my next visit, Mrs. Pumphrey drew me to the side. "Mr. Harriet," she whispered, "Tricky adored your charming letter, and he will keep it always. But he was very put out about one thing. You addressed it to Master Tricky, and he does insist upon Mr. He was dreadfully affronted at first, quite beside himself. But when he saw it was from you, he soon recovered his good temper. I can't think why he should have these little prejudices. Perhaps it is because he is an only dog. I do think an only dog develops more prejudices than one from a large family." In later chapters, James Harriet goes on to describe how Mrs. Pumphrey adopts a pig to help Tricky overcome his prejudices. And says, "The pig was every bit as generous as Tricky with his presence. And as with little Pekingese, I was able to salve my conscience with the knowledge that I was really fond of him. As always, my business partner's sardonic attitude made things a little uncomfortable. I had suffered in the past when I got the signed photographs from the little dog, but I never dared let him see the one from the pig."
Hi there, I'm Valerie Olson, and I've been part of this assembly sort of from the inception here, so it's just wonderful to see so many people here today. I met Randy Patrick when he started stalking me via email. I was on a bicycle trip with a very disorganized organizer for an extended period overseas, and Randy and Linda had also experienced this gentleman's crazy ways. So Randy had found my blog somehow and started corresponding with me and added a lot of humor to what was often a very stressful situation. So in 2008, Randy and Linda moved back to Minneapolis area. So then we did the Facebook Friends thing. So I had a picture of this couple at that point. And then I was out at the Renaissance Festival, and this big burly guy like tackled me, and it's like, oh my God, that's that guy. So that's when I finally got to meet them. So unfortunately, Randy can't be here today. He's with his mom in Colorado, which I guess moms sometimes get precedence. I've been, since they've been back in Minneapolis, I've been following them, personally and on their Facebook page, and just doing so many amazing things with their dogs. Met them many times out at meetup events and so on, because they bring the dogs out to just experience new things. And I'm going to let Linda tell you what it is they do, but it's just really a terrific organization. And there are some donated items and a little can back there if you care to contribute at all to that cause. And I'll give you Linda Ball. Please.
Hi everyone. First of all, thank you so much for inviting us. Can y'all hear me without? Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay, Lisa. So I am Linda Ball. I'm the founder and director of an organization called Positive Perspectives Assistance Dogs. And that's some of what I want to talk about, is living life with that positive perspective. This is Breezy. Hi, Breezy. Breezy. Can you sit? Can you sit pretty? Ah, good girl. Yeah, she knows much more than that, but that's one of the cute things that she does. This is Breezy. I also brought, in place of Randy, Yvonne, who is a dear volunteer of ours, and Pete. Hi, Pete. Pete is an adolescent. He just turned a year old, and
Good boy. Down.
yeah, he's a little
Yes.
crazy, but we thought it would be a good experience and that you guys would be understanding. So he's over there being squirmy. Let me squeeze it down. No, down. Oh, down. Okay. Nothing like live demos. Squeeze it down. Thank you. Settle. Thank you, good girl. So I wanted to talk a little about, usually with demos and discussions, I don't have cheat sheets, but I've been given a time limit and I tend to also talk a lot. So I'm going to attempt to keep myself on track here. But I wanted to talk about the positive effects of human-canine bonds. And in order to do that, I need to tell you a little about the organization itself. I founded the organization after having worked overseas in humanitarian aid. I remember the day, it was like a lightning bolt type thing where I was working with children in a city dump in Tegucigalpa, Honduras, and I realized that I was watching the dogs more than the kids. And that was one of those, okay, I'm scheduled, I'm turning 40, let's schedule our midlife crisis, change careers, and learn how to train dogs. Called my husband up and said, guess what I'm doing? He's like, are you crazy? Possibly. In retrospect, possibly. But I knew that it was something powerful. It was something equally as powerful, if not more, than what I was doing. So what we do is one thing. We train dogs for placement with people with disabilities. The process that we do it and why we do it is what makes us different and what guides me kind of as a human being. And that is the process of training a dog to be a service dog is long. It's about 2 years, sometimes 3. It takes thousands of hours. It's just a very long, intense process. And I started thinking, you know, why not use that process as therapeutic and experiential? Why not bring in youth at risk? And so we have got a couple of programs in the Lakeville School District, looking to expand that portion. Why not work with inmates in prisons who maybe haven't made the best life choices? Why not work with our wounded warriors and our veterans who come back and need to learn to reconnect with their families? There's so much therapeutic value. And so that's kind of what drove me to start an organization that we use the process of training. Ideally, the outcome then is that our dogs are placed and continue to change lives with people with physical disabilities. Or we also train diabetic alert dogs. So that's kind of the why and what makes us different. Sometimes it means that maybe a dog doesn't get to the end result because they've changed lives all the way through, and you know, some of our kids are a little not consistent, maybe, with the dog. But you know, in the process, in that journey, they have taught emotional regulation, self-control, parenting skills, empathy, and the list goes on and on and on. So who here has ever been touched by the power of an animal? Doesn't have to be a dog, it can be cats or others. Okay, pretty much across the board. I think it's magical. I think I'm incredibly fortunate to have the opportunity to facilitate that and to see the lives change. I've seen inmate trainers become not just humane, but human. I've seen, it's incredibly powerful to see these men, I've not worked with women, but see these men, big, scary by all of society standards, who have made bad choices, to see them care for their dogs and train and show patience and love, and it's just pretty amazing. I've seen youth at risk stay in school because of the dog program. They graduate, they go on to become defenders of our country. One of the first youth I worked with wasn't going to stay in school. He ready to quit school, but he kept coming back because 4 days a week he got to work with the dogs. His dog ended up graduating, being placed with his mom, who had below-the-knee amputations. That was like powerful. He now is a father and a soldier. And I just got goosebumps, and I do this for a living. I've seen psychologically damaged Vietnam vets curl up on a floor with a dog and share things that they haven't shared with anyone. And it's because of that positive effect that I know parents of children with diabetes who now get to sleep a couple of hours longer. You would not believe how important a couple of hours of sleep is to a parent of a child who has diabetes. Really powerful. I know warriors, wounded warriors who've been able to become more independent, and that's powerful for these men who are used to being fiercely strong. And then through suicide bombings, through one of our dogs was placed with a veteran now who was in the first Fort Hood shooting and was shot point blank in the head. Pretty powerful. Because of the positive effect of the dogs, I've seen those overcome with grief comforted. A couple of our dogs work in the school district in Lakeville, and there has been a really uncanny number of suicides in the last year, and our dogs are the first there to provide comfort. I could go on anecdotally, on and on and on. But I want to say, too, that there is science behind this. Petting a dog releases oxytocin. That's what mothers release when they nurse their babies. It decreases stress. It calms heart rates. So science is behind it. The other thing I wanted to touch on is, who has ever heard the phrase, "It's just a dog," or "It's just a dumb dog"? I think we all have. Well, I'd venture to say that those people's lives are missing something. They just can't be whole, in my opinion, personal opinion, and professional opinion. And with that, I want to show off a little of what just a dog can do, and tell you a little more about Breezy. We'll see about Pete. So Breezy here is a rescue. We use both rescues, and we do have dogs who've been donated from breeders. Breezy's specialty, well, I'll show you some of the other things that she can do, but she will be placed as a diabetic alert dog. She heard it, so she's cheating a little. I just opened up a sample in my pocket. Girl, higher low. Yes. So she just told me that I've got low blood sugar sample.
Wow.
And I didn't even have to hear. I know, you probably heard it. Good girl. And? Hair up. Yes. Make sure you weren't fibbing. Good girl. Get your leash. Good job. She's also trained to go get help. I wonder if I let her loose. Yeah, why not? If she goes and nudges you, stand up and follow her to me. I'll try to guide her. She used to do that to the cat at the training center. Breezy, ready? Go get help. Go get help. Yes, good girl. So she would go and get help, which really is useful for a parent or for a guardian or caretaker. She's also trained that if I don't acknowledge the scent or the alert, and there's no person, she can go and get a phone or go get a buzzer. Yeah, your nose is pretty darn good. Pete is, I think that's his strength as well. We dual train all of our dogs. I figure education is always a good thing. And also that allows me, it allows me to see what they're good at. Because as beings, I don't want to put them in a job that they hate. Anyone here? I feel it's like if I was forced to, and nothing against accountants if there's any in here, if I was in a cubicle 8 hours a day and having to crunch numbers, it would be really ugly. It just wouldn't be good for me. I look at the dog and go, what turns them on? So we dual train across the board, and then I look, hey, when I pull a scent out, do they all of a sudden go, woohoo, that's what I want to do. Or I have a dog that's like, I could care less about a diabetic. I'll alert you and then I'm going to go lay down, which just isn't good. Kind of got to be persistent. That dog's telling me what they're good at, and I think it's really important that we pay attention to that. Breezy happens to be very good at a lot of things. So we teach upwards of 100 different things. Hey, Breezy, no shopping. Breezy, money. Good girl. Switch. Thank you. Good girl. I had my hands full coming in, so I had them open the door. Breezy. I know, there's good things in there. Breeze, leave it. Thank you. Touch.
That was easy.
Wasn't it? So as you see, we use rewards for training, because who wants to work without a salary? We keep it positive. We attempt to redirect if they screw up. I mean, don't we all screw up? It's so much about acceptance. And that's what our whole program is, too, is, you are what you are, and if you're bettering yourself and trying, how can we get mad for trying? Do we want to bring Pete up to try?
He's calmed down a little bit, so.
Well, let's get him working. I'll swap you out. Pete was named by the family of a fallen
boy.
soldier. He was emotionally and psychologically wounded and ended up committing suicide. And his family is one of the most amazing families I know. And so the soldier's name was Peter Bergstrom. And so they named Pete. I know if I leave this down here, well, we'll see. So let's get him warmed up a little. Hey, Pete, hi, you want to work for me? Good job, buddy. Touch.
That was easy.
Touch.
That was easy.
Yes, good boy. Good boy. Hey, Pete, sit. Good job. Touch. Shake. Uh-oh. Yes, good boy. Ready? Get it. Bring it here. Bring it here. Come here, Pete. Come, buddy. Hey, no shopping. No shopping. Should we try this again? Was that my fault? Get it. Give. Yes, good boy. So we tailor it to where he's at. Pete's actually really a brilliant puppy, but he is a teenager. Hey, Pete, you like this one? Ready? You get it? Tug. Tug. Good job. I know. Good job. So a tug for tugging doors open, for tugging clothes off, socks off. One of his favorite things right now that I would show you, except then he'll be tugging everyone's gloves off and trying to run away with them. He's fun. He's fun. So anyway, we train upwards of about 100 different commands and tasks. And then a lot of it comes with, leave it. Thank you, good boy. Maturity and experience. So when I was trying to decide what dogs to bring here today, I'm like, do I go with the solid ones, 2 solid ones, or do I go with one who needs a little more practice and a little more exposure? And the solid one. I know. And So, yes, you know which one we went with. Here, I'm gonna swap you. Come here, Reese. Come here, Pete. Pete, any questions? And I don't know how much time I have left. We'll stay around afterwards too if anyone has any questions.
Good boy.
Long is the session, and what do you do during it?
You know, we pretty much figured that every interaction is an opportunity for training, and so a lot of it is just real life. We kind of don't do we've got training from, 10 to 11, usually.
Yes.
And so it depends. As puppies, when they're puppies, we do that more often. So at like 8 weeks old, I'm doing a 5-minute focused training session every couple of hours, that type of thing. Breezy was raised in prison, and it was just lots of training and play and life, real life. And then when we place the dogs with their people, that's a pretty intense process of making sure we can match the right dog with the right person. For example, I have a client who has 4 cats right now. I have to take that into consideration. I don't have a dog right now that can handle 4 cats. The soldier I was talking about shot in Fort Hood, a toddler, 2 cats, and extensive traveling. He travels all the time, all over. Luckily, I have the perfect dog for him. But sometimes people can wait. Sometimes it can go fast, 3 months. A lot of times it can be 2 years while they wait, while we have a good match. And then there's a 2-week client training that's very intense. So we want to send people off with the knowledge of how to use their dog. So I don't know if that answered your question, and then a few more questions that you didn't ask. Yeah.
So is there certain breeds that work better than others for training, or is there breeds that you just don't take?
We typically go with kind of the labs, golden retriever, golden lab crosses are my favorite. I'm not an elitist. I don't care about AKC and papers and registrations and all of that. I care about temperament and health, and that's all. I'd like to try some smaller dogs, maybe for diabetic alert, be kind of fun. But typically we go with those that can handle weight, because they do things like, Breezy, stand. Thank you. If I've fallen, Breezy, brace. I'm putting quite a bit of weight on her, so we always have to make sure that they're structurally good. And we put $20,000 to $25,000 into each dog by the time they graduate. So it's an investment. We want them to succeed. Yeah.
So how does this diabetic alert work? I mean, does a person's breath change or something?
It's magic. It is the coolest thing ever. It is a chemical change. It's a smell. So I have some spit donors. Their blood sugar goes down or up, and they will provide me with samples of saliva. And so that is the smell. Diabetic alert is relatively new. We're still pioneering. It's been about a year and a half ago, had a very interesting discussion with some scientists who said, all of you people need to stop training diabetic alert dogs because we don't know what they're alerting to. And it was at a dog training seminar. We all looked at it and were like, well, catch up. Catch up. We're not going to stop. They're saving lives. They're changing lives. So it is the chemical smell. Scientifically, we can't identify it yet. It's just, they know. They know what it is.
We got one more question.
Yeah. Yes.
I've heard that dogs can also identify some cancers.
Cancers, they
Are
absolutely
they being
can. And that's
trained?
kind of one of the newer fields. There's a couple of organizations. The lead one is in England, in the UK. We did have an experience where a volunteer of ours she had taken care of the dogs in the morning. We came in, hey, Reese, and she was sitting there crying. And I'm like, Diane, what's the matter? And she couldn't say, and then she pulled me aside and said, Hania just jumped up on me and just started nuzzling me right here, nuzzling me right here. Tomorrow I go in for a biopsy. And it was cancer. Yeah, and she was just so taken aback by, I mean, we were all like, ooh, goosebumps again. So they're very perceptive, and estimates are about 70% of dogs will identify blood sugar changes or sometimes seizure, pre-seizure behavior, but we don't know they don't know how to tell us. They've never been trained. So they misbehave in a family pet. And so you're like, knock it off, stop it, good. Well, what happens when you don't get rewarded? You stop doing it. Or you get reprimanded. You stop doing it. You know, so that's one thing with our diabetic alert training. We try never to shut them down. She alerted me a couple of weeks ago. And she's alerting me, and I'm like, liar, because I'm not diabetic. You're fibbing. And all of a sudden I went, but I did just eat quite a few powdered sugar donuts. So I asked her if I was high or low, and she said I was high, and I'm like, my blood sugar was high. And she was probably right. I didn't test, but you don't have to be diabetic to have blood sugar fluctuations.
Well, thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Will you be around a little bit later so people can talk to you then? Okay.
All right, Breezy, get your leash.
We're going to have...
I didn't even show how you can do laundry.
And thank you to your volunteers.
So I was reading a study this week, kind of in preparation for all of this. Study published out of Budapest, in Hungary, found that dogs and humans have the same voice recognition area of the brain. It's found in exactly the same species. We're about 90 to 100,000 years our species apart. But they did studies where they played different sounds from both humans and dogs, and they found that dogs can recognize human emotion, and similarly humans can recognize dog emotion from the different vocalizations alone. Dogs can differentiate both emotion and words. So it's absolutely incredible, and this is really amazing work that you're doing, Linda. So thank you so much for sharing with us. I don't know if you have ever had kind of the similar experience of, you're coming home after a really long day and there's nobody home except for the dog, and he or she comes over and like puts their head on your lap, or just like sits next to you and is like nudging your hand. You don't have to explain anything to a dog. They just seem to know things. So that kind of leads us to our next song here, which I hope, does everyone know this one? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You will pick it up. You'll probably recognize it. It's hardcore 80s.
Oh, why you look so sad? Tears are in your eyes. Come on, come to me now. Don't be ashamed to cry. Let me see you through, 'cause I've seen the dark side too. When the night falls on you, don't know what to do. Nothing you confess can make me love you less. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. So, if you're mad, get mad. Don't hold it all inside. Come on and talk to me now. Hey, what you got to hide? I get angry too. Well, I'm a lot like you. When you're standing at the crossroads, don't know let me come along. 'Cause even if you're wrong, I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. Take me into your darkest hour, and I'll never desert you. I'll stand by you. When the night falls on you, don't know what to do. You're feeling all alone. I won't be on your own. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. Take me into your darkest hour, and I'll never desert you. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you.
Okay. So just in case I'm really nervous, pay attention to the pictures. Because they're ridiculous. I'm Marie LePage. Uh-oh. That's me. I got a haircut, but it's still me. I'm Marie LePage. This is my husband, Keith Mullen. And connected to this discussion about animals, we are here to talk about kittens. Go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, okay. So we've got 2 kittens of our own, but we also foster cats for an organization called Feline Rescue Incorporated. They're in St. Paul. And they take in strays and rescues and abandoned cats from all over the Twin Cities. And there's a couple of different placements that they have. They have a shelter on Fairview, just north of Snelling, but there's also 2 different foster programs that they have where the kittens are placed in homes. And we're one of the homes that takes in kittens. We've taken in 17 in the last year and a couple of months. We started in the fall of 2013 with doing that. And we kind of came at, since this is the one thing I know and it's supposed to be related to one of our 3 principles, we went with helping often, because Feline Rescue helps the communities by getting kittens off the streets, which helps with their health, helps with population control, and we help connect kittens that need homes with families that would like to adopt a kitten. And it is the Feline Rescue is a no-kill organization. Every cat that they take in is with the organization until it finds a home. It could be a couple of weeks, could be months. They have a couple of cats at the shelter that have been there for quite a few years, but they're still loved by the volunteers. People come in and visit them, and so every cat that we take in is safe.
These are newborns up here. Like a day or 2 old. So we're just going to talk a little bit. I know we have a short amount of time. We're just going to talk about why we do it. We started doing it because I want perpetual kittens all the time. Mine are big and fat, and so I need kittens. That's why we do it. It's obviously very rewarding to see. To hear the stories where they come off of the street, somebody found them in a box, somebody found them in a sewer, and then they're in our house, and then now they go to a new home. So it's really rewarding to find homes for them and to also work with them and socialize them. A lot of them, cat slippers. A lot of them, if they have a past, they maybe are very frightened, and so it's nurtured a lot of compassion in us to get to work with those that are a little bit more shy. And we really enjoy working with them. We also get mad social media cred because you post kitten pictures up all day. Likes. So many likes. And we also like doing it because I'm an adult, and so it's my house. My mom is here. And she let us have one cat. Now I have 10 sometimes. So really it's just retaliation against her. So yeah, we little things we enjoy, kitten piles, as I'm sure you're seeing. We enjoy learning about the different personalities the kittens have. It improves the mood when I'm feeling really depressed. Grab a kitten, throw it on you, you're good to go. We love watching our cats bond with the little kittens. It takes a little time, but it happens. I love doing photo shoots with them. Oh my god. Yeah, so cute.
That one's fresh.
That's freshly exited.
Minutes.
Yes. I think one of the most interesting experiences of all of this is saying goodbye to them. Especially this last litter that we had. We had a mom and her 6 children that were born in my craft room downstairs. It was a mess. But having to say goodbye to them as they all go off in their separate ways is a guaranteed way to cry for the day. But then sometimes you get to follow them on Facebook and Instagram and see pictures of them getting really fat and really happy. So that's, oh my god, so cute. Why do you guys get to see this? I want to see it. Oh. So then I'll let you just touch on this last stuff before we finish.
Sure. Did you talk about this stuff?
I did not.
Okay. One of the other things that Sunday Assembly encourages is to wonder more. Yes, wonder more. And through this experience, we've learned a lot about cats in their biology, their psychology, and it's been very interesting to watch because even though these are domesticated animals, they're still animals, and so trusting that mama cat knows what she's doing somehow was tough, but they really do. It's an instinctual thing, and it was fascinating to watch. This mother cat, rear these newborn kittens into independent creatures, and there's all sorts of fun things to go along with that. But it was just fascinating to watch. So that was wondering more. And if you're interested in cats and would like to help out, or just want to visit them, you can visit the shelter on Fairview, Feline Rescue Inc. on Facebook and online. And if you just go and visit the kittens and spend time with them, that actually helps them socialize with people. Or they always take donations of money and materials, of course. If you know somebody that's interested in adopting a cat, or you yourself are interested in adopting a cat, you can contact Feline Rescue and they'll put you in touch with either one of the foster families or at the shelter. And you can volunteer. They're always looking for volunteers to help out at the shelter, cleaning and playing with the cats, and even if you want to foster. There's one of our fat ones with 2 of our little foster babies. They look like a family, but they're not.
No.
And if you see stray cats on the street, you can call them up and they will come out and trap them and find a home for them. Or in the event that they are too feral, they will make sure that the cat is healthy, spay or neuter, and then put it back where they found it, so that they can continue to live the way they live, but won't be a detriment to the population.
That's it.
Thank you. Being short is fun. Anyway, we are going to play a get to know you game. So underneath your pigs, which I'll put in a quick thing if you ever want to part with your money, there's a nice piggy on your table. But underneath your pigs, you will find slips of paper like this. The goal is to find as many people who have have the person initial it. And we're going to see who gets the most in 4 minutes. All right, so get up, move around, and find people who have whatever it says. And there's a bunch of different forms, so who knows? Some will be easier, some will be harder.
get one from each person?
Yeah, one from each person.
Yep. One thing on that, you can only get a person to sign off on one thing, so you can't find somebody that has a ton of them. So you gotta talk to a whole bunch of different people.
Oh, yeah.
I only learned a few years ago. Hi. I might just hold it.
Hi. Hello. I'm Peter.
I'm Jen.
Nice to meet you.
This is Zora. I don't think she's going to check out.
Probably that. Well, maybe this
Maybe the no cat.
Wash your suit.
Well, last night she was all right, let's see. I bet you can change the
I wish. I probably can figure it out with YouTube.
Oh, well, there you go. All right.
Decaf. That counts.
All right. You have that done. How you doing today?
Oh, you have? Yeah.
You don't want me to get
I have traveled outside the United States. It's from water skiing this summer on our lake cabin in Minnesota. Yes, I do.
I knew how to water ski long before I knew how to do it properly. Carly, we meet again. All right, let's see.
Hello.
You have plans for it.
I have a plan.
Where what?
Does anyone watch reality TV show? Oh, excellent. Thank you. Has anyone been to Landmark Center? Rice Park, St. Paul? No, I'd be away, but yeah. Oh, okay. I'm almost close. I've been here. Excellent. Thank you. Do you want me to sign any of your pages? Let's see here.
Hi.
I like mysteries. Who doesn't like a good killer mystery? I sign musical instruments.
What's your name? Carly.
Take coffee? No?
20 seconds to go.
Thank you.
No, I don't. All right.
10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy! If I can get you back to your seats, we'll see how people did. All right. How about everybody who has 6 or more stand up? All right, 7 or more. 8 or more. 9 or more. 10. 11. 12. 13. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the fun game, Get to Know You, Nancy. I have a confession to make. Before I started dating Erin, my fiance, I did not consider myself a cat person. I did not like cats. But now I love our cat.
Sure you do.
Of course, when they puke on the floor, I still call them her cats. And, you know, before today, I didn't know how much dogs really could impact someone's life. Learn a lot of new things regarding that, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about our community, is that we can all learn from each other. And one thing you'll never find at a Sunday assembly is a person, a leader that all the answers come from. Here we believe that we can find answers amongst the community and in any wisdom that comes in the world, whether that's through a feline or through a canine. So I just want to encourage you also to continue to build those relationships here, and that we can provide the same kind of safe place that Linda provides for her dogs when she works with them. So that is what I want to close with. And like we always do, we close with a song as well.
Let me get the band up here for one more song. But before we do that, I want to introduce everyone who is up here with me today. We are unofficially calling ourselves the New World Monkeys. That is how we introduced ourselves at the Minnesota Atheist Humanist Solstice Banquet last month. And they loved it. So on my right, I have Erin. Erin is president of this assembly. You have Jacqueline down next to her. Hans, your second Sunday singing with us, Hans?
Yeah, I think so.
And back here we have Ryan on guitar. It's awesome. And Keith, who is our sound guy, did everything, like set up all of this today. Keith is awesome. Always thank you, sound person.
So, David, before you talk about the song, I am going to remember to talk about some announcements. So,
you're welcome.
I want all of you to know that Sunday Assembly happens once a month on the second Sunday, and but that is not the only thing that Sunday Assembly does. Some upcoming events are this Thursday. Erin and I host an event called Wine with Ted at our place, in which we watch a TED Talk, and we've actually watched a couple TED Talks, and we have some wine and some craft beer and some popcorn, and then we kind of discuss things, and people really find that they enjoy that. And if we hit the 2 o'clock hour again, we'll probably have to kick you out, like usual. But it's a really fun time. And Keith and Maria are putting on a winter photography event February 1st. So you're welcome to that as well. All these things are on Meetup. Wine with Ted is this Thursday night, and so look for that on Meetup. We also have a survey out there, Survey Monkey. You'll find that in the back of your program. That kind of just asks the community, hey, what do you want to see more of, and what are you liking about Sunday Assembly, and is there anything that we need to change? Our budget is about $270 right now. If you feel free to contribute, there's little piggies on your table with little messages to you telling you why we are asking for that money. And as always, Sunday Assembly happens because of the community of Sunday Assembly. We don't have any paid staff. Everyone that contributes is a volunteer in the community, and it is only because lots of people volunteer that it's able to work, because we all have full-time jobs. So feel free, if you are interested in music, in hosting, in holding a small group, any little activity, if you feel like you're good at graphic design and want to do the programs, we would be happy to have you, and that's all I've got.
So one last thing, if we are going to be sticking around for a little bit, so feel free to mingle in the back, mingle here at the tables, talk amongst yourselves, get to know each other some more. But we're going to leave you with one last song today. We've done it a couple times before, but I thought it was particularly fitting today. Sarah Baretta's. Does everyone know the song? Kind of? Mm-hmm. You will pick it up. You can be an amazing, interphrasing to a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast, or be the backlash of somebody's lack of love. Or you can suck
wanna stay and let the words flow